is it less likely that a better player, however you want to define that, if you include prep or being able to understand a meta or a matchup that they've played a bunch of times, is going to win in a, let's say, Priest versus Aggro Paladin matchup that they haven't tested much, or Priest versus, there's a couple random Hunter decks that were played. One of these matchups, if people are seeing it for the first time, it's, I'd argue, even less likely than a player winning against a Yogg deck. A better player winning against a Yogg deck or a Yogg that's played. It's important to define what skill is, or what skill encompasses in Hearthstone. And I think that one of the things it definitely encompasses is understanding of popular matchups in the meta game. So when you have these tournaments that are far away from that, I think it takes away from the skill that is practiced. Now, could they practice that skill? Yes, but they don't. So I'm not convinced you're actually seeing a higher level of play in these tournaments like Batstone. And I would actually argue that you're probably not seeing a higher level of play, despite the fact that everyone likes to meme about the HCT and stuff. Which brings me to my next point, which is that it's very popular for people to say, and I'm going to quote Firebat in this. This is what Firebat said about his Batstone tournament, why it was so successful. Advertise popular people and invited popular people. That's the recipe to have people watch your stuff. Okay. They go on to say no one's consistent at getting through open tournaments because there's no skill. Or not no skill, but there's not enough consistency in Hearthstone. This is a thing that you'll hear a lot. There's not enough consistency in Hearthstone. In this video, I believe they all agreed. No one's been consistent throughout the whole year, despite the fact that George C. has done fantastic this year in the HCT, which is arguably the only tournaments he's really been able to play in. So I'm not exactly sure that that's accurate. When they're talking about viewers and why the numbers are decreasing, this is in Crip's video, Firebat's video, Strife Crow's video, anyone's video. Nobody A versus nobody B. Nobody cares. That's Firebat's quote. Now, to the average viewer, sure, they're nobody. A lot of people don't know who the fuck Hot Meowth was. To me, who's played in the open circuit and I've grinded my way through a bajillion tournaments, you're damn right I know who Hot Meowth is. Are you kidding me? I've played the guy on ladder fucking plenty of times. I've played him in tournaments plenty of times. Like, I know exactly who Hot Meowth is. So how do I get other people who aren't having the same experience as me care about who Hot Meowth is? And that's not to say that I care about Hot Meowth more than I care about my friend. It's just that I'm aware of who Hot Meowth is through playing the game competitively. And this is where, with Magic the Gathering, since every tournament's an open tournament and people actually care about the competition and respect the competition, they would know who, if this was Magic the Gathering, they would know who Hot Meowth is. Because they go to fucking open, they go to Grand Prix, they go to Star City Game Opens, they see Hot Meowth's name every time he's there. You know, he doesn't win every time, but he's there, he's doing well. He's practicing, he's playing, he plays throughout a whole year, gives a lot of effort to the game, dedicates a lot of time to the game. They know who he is, regardless if he's actually good or actually bad. They know who he is. Now, I didn't save the tweet, but Lothar tweeted to me a few months ago in response to someone complaining about not being able to play in open tournaments online. He said, pay for yourself and go travel to a tournament. And I had said, yeah, I did that a lot for regular card games. Now, if someone like Hot Meowth, or let's get even bigger than Hot Meowth. You all know Nostum. Everyone knows who Nostum is. That's probably watching this video. If you don't know who Nostum is, he's a player who's done well in the competitive scene in open tournaments the last 2 years. Definitely one of the most well-accomplished open players. Now, let's say that he's good at the game. Obviously, he's good at the game. If he wants to go to a DreamHack, it's going to cost him from America, I know in Europe it's cheaper, significantly, but from America, it's going to cost him probably $1,200 to go to a DreamHack, if not more. If he gets top 16, so if he beats 250 of the other best players in the world and gets top 16, he still doesn't even make his money back. Furthermore, how could he expect to build a storyline or beat those players when he can't even play against those players? Now, this seems like it might be a little off track, but bringing it back, he would be able to justify that, and people would know him if there was more respect for the competition. A lot of the things that they say is that people like watching a fun game, they like seeing players they know, and they like relating to the players they know. But why can't they relate to just competitive players? Which is the real meat at what I wanted to get at today in this rant. And that's that the competitive structure that we have in Hearthstone currently, above the cards, above everything else, is where the real problem lies, and where the culture builds, or the culture manifests itself. There's no respect for competition in Hearthstone. Now, why is that? Well, first off, most people don't even know where the hell to find a fucking tournament. It's not like it's in the browser. It's not like there's a tournament mode for me to click on. I talked to Dog in the middle of the year. Dog said, I don't even know how the HCT works. There's a last call? What's that? Dog gets paid thousands of dollars to play this game, and he doesn't even know how the HCT works. People play Magic from all levels competitively. Like, okay, maybe I don't play Magic competitively all the time, but I go to an F&M. I understand how tournaments work. I've played in tournaments. I respect tournaments. I respect the player that wins that tournament. I've been to the tournament 3 times, maybe over the course of 7 months. I'm just a casual player. I've seen him do well. You know? Is he a big name? No, but I know the guy. Their approach is very bottom-up, where the approach that Blizzard takes, I would consider it trickle-down competition. You put $1 million at the top, and you watch the players come down from the top and build levels downward. The thing is eventually at a certain skill level, it doesn't keep building downward, and people stop giving a shit about the top. And when people don't care about the top, then your top players don't care about the top. They don't even try to qualify. You have tons of players who didn't try to qualify. Strifecrow, Skaka, Life Coach. They didn't even care to qualify for prelims. When your biggest tournament doesn't incentivize players who are professional and considered great at your game to qualify for it, you probably have a problem. One would argue that the players don't even appreciate the competition anymore. They've already competed in it. They've already had success in it. I don't need to compete anymore, which is fair. A lot of them make more money not competing than they do competing. So why would they compete? It doesn't make any sense to, right? So how do you make them care about the competition as well? In Hearthstone, I log in, I play the ladder, I get good at the ladder, playing by myself or playing with friends eventually in Legend, I get good at the ladder, you know, and then maybe finally I get a breakout. Like, let's say I'm a Roof Trellin. You know, he said he liked to play the ladder, so he played in the tournament, he did well in the tournament, now he's at the tournament. And all of it's paid for, so it's easy to do. But imagine now a scenario where we start from the bottom. We have local tournaments. All of a sudden, people are qualifying from local tournaments. They're winning in their local tournaments. You know, they're beating local players. The competition level is not as high as it is in open tournaments online because you have to play against people like me who have to grind open tournaments or anyone else. So you win a local tournament. You're feeling good. You go to a regional tournament. You play in a regional tournament. You win that. You go to a national tournament. You win a national tournament. You go to an international tournament, what have you. But it all starts from that local store. The product, and this is a whole other rant I was going to do for another time, and that's that the HCT is used as a promotional product for casual Hearthstone, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with the League of Legends rants that have been going on lately, or not lately, well now they're post-mortem, so to speak, for a month ago. But it's the idea that Hearthstone competitively is used as an advertisement for casual Hearthstone, the product. And that's why you see changing of cards before the World Championship, which is the most viewed tournament, because then people have to change their strategies on the ladder and they have to get new cards. This is a very simple theory, very simple concept. What if Hearthstone could just be a standalone, competitive Hearthstone could just be a standalone product? What if people played Hearthstone because they like competing in Hearthstone? What if the product was Hearthstone tournaments? It's not so far-fetched. People compete in Magic tournaments all the time. They compete in Pokemon tournaments, Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, tons of different card games they pay to compete. And in those games, you don't see any invited tournaments, really, at all. Most of the tournaments are all open. Obviously, they don't generate nearly the revenue. They don't have nearly the player base, etc., etc. A lot of the business model, they can't be played on mobile. I understand there's a lot of differences, but it's this idea that the respect from competition comes from having competed. How can I expect the average Hearthstone viewer to respect competition if they haven't ever competed, or don't know how to compete, or don't understand the Hearthstone competition? I can't expect them to understand why, despite the fact that Hot Meowth or whoever, I just keep using him as an example because the tournament was this weekend, misplayed and still won. I can't expect them to understand that he spent 3 months grinding points, or that he won X amount of opens, or that he's played X amount of ladder games. Why would they understand? It's ridiculous to expect that. Even more so when the influencers are giving them false realities, saying, oh, this person will fade out, this person got lucky, Yogg determined this game, Yogg determined that game. For instance, this weekend, there was a Yogg in the final game, I believe, the finals, and really both players played Yogg in the game, and both the Yoggs, which was very average, and Hot Meowth was already ahead, but everyone says, best Yoggs ever. Yogg determined the game. People are complaining. This needs to go. When in reality, that really wasn't the case. I also think it's interesting that if you ban Yogg, the only deck that's gone is Druid. And then that just comes back just as strong, probably with Token Druid or something that's very little worse. Very little worse. Less, probably 1% or less worse than the actual Druid deck. Which is an argument also for taking away Yogg, because it really doesn't have an effect on the Druid's win rate. But that's neither here nor there. I think that Yogg actually stops a lot of mid-range curve decks from existing, but that seems pretty obvious. Beast Druid, etc. And he was ranting about how, in the video, how Shaman's a problem because he cannot build a control deck and win.